Okay.
Okay, we are live.
Good evening. This is the planning board meeting of April 22nd, 2021. I'll do the roll call first. Mr. Phil Nemisak,
Present.
Louis Campana,
Present.
Jim Bonanno is present, and Mark Cunningham is not able to attend this evening. We have no minutes to go over this time. For everyone watching, the following applicants have been adjourned and will not be on the agenda tonight. The first one is application 19-542 5 Ray Place. This has been adjourned to the May 27th planning board meeting. Application 20-19-189-91 Brook Street, Kids Corner has also been adjourned for a ZBA and ARB review. For our viewing audience, I would just like to run through how you can participate in this public hearings when they occur. If you'd like to make a comment after a public hearing has been open, use the raise hand feature on Zoom or *9 if you are calling in from a phone. Mr. Tedesco will acknowledge you and invite you to speak. Once you're invited, please unmute your mic and state your name and address and then make your comments. So that's it. So let's get started. The first application we have this evening is 21-16 Seraphim 670 White Plains Road.
Okay, I'm just getting everyone set up here.
Is it Serafina or Seraphin?
Oh, it's Seraphina. Did I say Seraphim?
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil.
Are we ready or are we waiting on some?
I think just you're all set to go unless your dad wants to speak as well. I mean, he's ready to go if he'd like to. So if you're ready, that's fine.
All right, Dad, you're muted if you hear me. All right, Chris Crocco, Joseph Crocco Architects, representing Vernon Hills and Serafina Restaurant Group. We're here today because we are proposing on expanding the outdoor dining area. We're also currently in the building department for minor interior alterations, and I will share my screen so we could run through the plan. Everybody see that?
Yeah, Chris, this is Phil Nemisek. I just, the only application before us is with respect to the outdoor dining, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so
No, I was just kind of giving you a history of where we're at.
Good.
Very good. Yeah, I know Mr. Bonanno and I were on the board, and so was Mr. Cunningham, who's not here tonight, when this was first approved as a dining establishment for Fig and Olive some years ago.
So Fig and Olive, correct.
Yes. And I do remember Bob Pulaski, who was then on the board, being quite concerned with umbrellas and how they might blow away in a heavy wind. It was rather humorous in retrospect. I don't think it ever happened. But I do see the bright umbrellas in the photos.
I don't think we had that issue at Fig and Olive.
I don't think that we did either.
Just in Bob's memory, we're going to grill you about the umbrellas, so get ready.
Right, can't wait. Excited.
Okay. Excellent.
Anyways, all right. This is the previously approved plan that's up on the screen now. This previously approved plan, seating wise, okay, my mouse is working good. So this previously approved plan had 136 inside and 48 outside. Our proposed plan has 122 inside and 104 outside. Our reason for this is, well, not only COVID, that's not really the reason. It's just that we feel that this is going to add to the environment of the shopping center and going to make it more attractive, to go shopping on a nice day. You can sit outside, they can cater to more people, because when it's nice out, sitting outside, everybody wants to sit outside, and we'd like to be able to accommodate everybody. So we've proposed to expand. I wish I could have fit these both on one sheet. I don't know why this is running so slow. This is horrifically slow.
Don't worry, we're sort of used to this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, there's nothing unusual about what's going on.
Yeah, and Chris, as I reviewed the application, it looks like basically what you're doing is taking the same
Yeah.
building materials, sort of building that retaining wall that you're kind of pointing to now, and sort of building that out into that like green area.
Exactly.
And it's going to be raised, but the same stone, and quite frankly, looking at it, it looks quite attractive. And I agree with you, especially in this past year. Really, all the dining I've done at restaurants has been outdoors, and it's especially when you get into the nice weather as we're entering, other than today, of course, that we're entering into. It really is a nice thing to be outside, and I certainly there's a lot going on in the Vernon Hills Shopping Center, and we want to make it as vibrant as possible. The town, I can speak as a longtime resident of this town. We want to make sure that shopping center has everything it needs to succeed.
Yes, exactly, Phil. So what we're planning is this retaining wall right here. We'd like to take this and kind of wrap it out here and go like this. And then we also rerouted the sidewalk to go around and kind of follow it. And we got, wow, is this me or my internet connection? What is this? This is horrific. I don't know.
If your dad had been doing this, we could have blamed it. But Chris,
yeah. Oh my God, this is bad.
If you opened it in CAD, it'd probably be quicker.
Oh my God, I can't get over it.
What happened here?
I don't know.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. It's just
So,
updated.
as you can see, we have the sidewalk that's going to wrap around
Mhm.
the dining area. We're going to try to relocate a lot of those hedges between the wall and the sidewalk all the way around.
Okay.
We're going to relocate the light pole to the corner. Stop sign will stay intact. There's already that tree you see in the picture, which I believe is a beechwood. Basically, we're trying to keep all the seating that was existing except this one because I don't know what happened, but during construction, it's an odd door and it has a swing to it. So I don't know if it was planned to go in and out or what, but we added these 15 four-seaters in this area. We still have room for a flow of traffic to walk by. 2 point-of-sale systems, one over here and one over here. And as as Phil mentioned, we're matching basically all of the let's see if this will work. Do you guys see the rendering?
Yes, the stone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're matching all of the stone. We're going to try and reuse a lot of it and match it. Our tables and chairs, yellow's their color. That's their restaurant kind of color. If you've ever been to a Serafina, the awnings exist. They just want to be changed to yellow, and the yellow umbrellas they're going to match. I don't think they'll blow away.
Well, it's a good thing Mr. Pulaski's no longer on the board because he would be giving you grief about this.
Well, in all honesty, with umbrellas, the building department does too. So we actually review those to ensure that they don't fall away because they can actually injure people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want anybody to get impaled. But overall, I mean, that's the application. I could run through the letter, or
Just
want to take questions.
Can you just run through the seating, indoor and outdoor again, or just go down to the chart
Yeah,
that
sure.
you had? Because I think you're picking up 60 outdoor seats, right? 15 floors. Is that right?
So
Yeah.
I'm picking up 56 outside seats.
Well, you're eliminating 4, right? You're eliminating
that's
4
the 60 less 4.
at the
56,
door.
yeah.
Yeah, I eliminated
Inside
the
is
door, and then
inside's going down.
Yeah.
Okay. So the total is the difference there. Okay.
And the outdoor seating area that you're proposing in front of the restaurant, that's I don't quite recall what the present landscaping is, but it looks like you're going to build up that area behind that retaining wall, and it's going to be about maybe a couple of feet higher than street level. maybe a couple of feet, something like that, 2-3 feet.
Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
about how it
Okay.
currently exists.
Yeah.
Just based on the grading, the wall is going to be. Let me see if I can get a better angle for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just based on bringing this out, we're going to have to come up, and the wall will probably be about as high as this wall here.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of wrapping around, headed towards the parking lot, and then back around to meet the existing handicap ramp that goes down into the parking lot towards White Plains Road.
Chris, how tall is the wall?
Those are 30 inches.
30 inches. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it'll certainly add another dimension to this shopping center.
Yeah,
So,
I think it looks
Yeah.
very, very attractive, and as we've all learned, I think to some extent or another over this past year, the ability to feature outdoor dining has really saved a lot of restaurants, and it's just something that people like to do in good weather. I think
so
it's very attractive.
right, it is very well done. My comment is, can you go back to the photo that shows the existing, particularly the crosswalk? There you go. So the what's nice about this shopping center is that the sidewalks are very wide, and it's a very comfortable walk. I've been there on many occasions, and there's people with strollers, and there's people shopping, and there's lots of room to go back and forth. That's a pretty wide walkway, and it's used quite frequently. So frequently when you come up, if you're in the back, and I go there a lot, and you come up to here, you stop for traffic, and there's a group of people walking through here. It's not just one or two people, it's quite a few people. And there's ample room. I think the width of your walkway is less. I think it's a 5-foot walkway.
I can tell you right now.
Which doesn't give people much room to move.
So yes, you are correct. We maintained down by when you get to the rumble strip and the crosswalk, we maintained that width as kind of like a congregating area, but then we also have, this is a 5-foot aisle all the way around.
Yeah, I think a woman with a stroller and a child walking next to her will come to a traffic jam if someone's coming in the other direction, and there'll be no place to go.
Hey, Chris, can you go back to your floor plan?
Sure.
Is it looks, let me see here. So what's the width between the tables, those two tables next to the storefront?
The width
And
between these?
No, that and
yeah,
the one to the left.
yeah, but so those tables that your cursor is on right now,
Yeah.
what's the dimension between those tables and the tables in the larger seating area?
Oh, I can measure it right now.
But hold on, but this is closed off, so you can't. I see. Okay.
No, but it's wide. It's rather wide. That's a good point. That looks like 10 feet,
All right.
doesn't it?
It must be. Yeah.
It's pretty sizable per se.
Yeah, you could sort of take it from there, can't you?
Yeah, well, are we suggesting taking those two tables out and shifting the new table alignment over to the right as we see it, and basically expanding the sidewalk?
I'm suggesting expand the sidewalk. However you accomplish it is up to you.
That's true.
Yeah,
but, I think about, for instance, walking. I'm thinking about Bronxville for a second. walking through Bronxville, they have the outdoor seating, which is sort of in the parking area with the sidewalk, which is unobstructed. What if that walkway between the tables was connected to the walkway crossing the parking lot?
You'd have to ramp up then, wouldn't you?
You'd have to ramp, I guess, down from the
Yeah,
retaining
you'd have
wall.
to ramp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're going this way?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just so there's some option circulation.
And you'd have patrons that aren't going to this zipping through.
Well, I mean, the main reason, our reason for doing it this way and wrapping it around is because there's no real reason anybody would come down this way anymore because this is all restaurant. So we thought it was better to shift the pedestrian traffic around. This way you avoid, people going in and out and cluster here and, you're trying to eat and there's, 10 people lined up. That was our reasoning with that.
Yeah. Well, actually, also, if you're someone who's shopping the shopping center, you're not going to the store. You're asking them to go around this. And now, as before, they had landscaping to the right of them or the left of them. Now they're staring at cars. So their experience walking on the sidewalk has changed completely to accommodate Serafina. It's not as pleasant as what was there now, unfortunately. And there's one other thing I'd like to point out. The store next door is also on the application tonight. And that is, what is it? It's SG. It's
Sweetgreen.
It's a Sweetgreen.
Mm-hmm.
And there, they also have outdoor seating. So now the people coming up that ramp are going to be staring right at outdoor seating, which also comes out, I'm not quite sure, but we could look at that application, comes out pretty far. So they're going to have to go up that ramp, make a left, and negotiate the outdoor seating from Sweetgreen. So this has to be coordinated with Sweetgreen once you figure out what to do, because there's more seating next door. I don't have it here.
Yeah, although we haven't actually gotten to Sweetgreen yet, so.
But I think they should.
No, but
they should both
I
kind of
agree. That's a great
coordinate
suggestion.
and, yeah.
Yes, of course.
And I think that, this is my opinion, as you know, I'm not a voting member of the board, but personally, I'd be less concerned a little bit about the detour around, because I think even the outside dining is attractive, and that with planters and things that could be attractive. But I do think it's a valid comment with regard to the width of the sidewalk.
Yes.
And it actually looks like there's quite a bit of flexibility with reducing that width. It may not even require eliminating any tables, because it's, they might be able to be shifted to the right or to the east under any circumstances, or they may have to eliminate a couple of a few tables, a row of tables or something. Mm-hmm. But it does look like there's flexibility to widen that sidewalk.
Is there going to be protection for the pedestrians? Do you have it in your rendering there? Like, because now you've got little kids, but that's not what's over there? It's cars. Damn.
See,
that's not good.
The reason we had to wrap this so tight to here is because we need to maintain our slope on this ramp for it to meet ADA. Everyone following that? Or?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand.
But that doesn't affect the width of the sidewalk.
So I could bring this curb.
Mm-hmm.
I could bring this curb and this wall in, 3 feet and make it match. Because I believe this is 8. I can make it match this.
Well, hold on. Why don't you figure out what that is before we agree to that? I don't think it's 8.
Meanwhile, you're doing that to Jim. To your point, with the sidewalk being, basically directly on the driveway.
Yeah, some little kids
without a buffer.
Yeah.
I would rather see a 3-foot buffer from the parking lot to the sidewalk instead of widening the sidewalk.
I prefer both.
But I don't know. That's just...
I prefer both. I mean, I think I think it has to be wider, and I think there has to be some protection from people stepping out into traffic.
Yeah,
especially little kids.
Can you put some sort of a fence, not fence, but like bollards connected with chains or something decorative that would also serve as a guard for the protection. Exactly. I'm just throwing it out there. It
Yeah, I
doesn't
mean,
have
maybe
to be
that's something
that
that will take up a lot of space.
Mhm.
What about like a clear handrail, like a plexiglass type piece that looks sort of pretty, or something
I
decorative wrought iron, something like that, or something pretty.
I think again, the comment is to try to widen the sidewalk and provide some kind of appropriate protection for pedestrians.
Okay, good, done. Hey, and so that being said, I'm pulling up Sweet Green right now. So let's see what Sweet Green looks like.
You're in my ear. I'll be right back.
Okay. And Chris, Sweet Green is on the agenda right after your application, but I think you guys should coordinate site plans to an extent so you can see how the sidewalks work together and the outdoor dining areas work together.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get with them and maybe figure it out. I'll take a look at their application.
You can access it from the agenda.
Yeah.
You could pull it up right now. That's what I'm doing.
Well,
That's what I'm doing. I just want to see so we sort of maybe know what we're talking about before you stop.
Sorry, the dog was scratching his water bowl.
Yeah, they have a lot of seats out there.
so both applications have to go to the ARB and then they both have to come back to the planning board. So the ARB is going to be looking more at the materials and finishes and the cut sheets for the tables and umbrella. So you can tell both of them. I don't think you should be designing it for them, but if the concept is with regard to Serafina having a wider sidewalk and protection for pedestrians, then for Sweet Green, the issue with regard to the width of the sidewalk may be an issue as well, and then also that the sidewalks are actually connected and coordinated.
Yeah,
so when they both come back to the planning board, they could come back with revised site plans if necessary.
Right.
Okay, those are my comments then. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I sort of like that landscape and that. You know what? Can you have you given us a rendering of what it looks like there? Actually, you did, right? Those pictures are the rendering.
With the umbrella.
Yeah.
Can you zoom into that at all?
Or give us a bird's eye or something like that of that.
I don't want to implode your computer, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's my connection or what.
That's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, that buffers the corner. It's pretty handsome. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, if we could just address the comments that we have, that would be helpful.
So just to, go back and review them. You want a buffer between the cobblestone, but next to the drive aisle, you want a buffer.
I think it was more either a buffer or an element of protection.
So the kids don't run out into the street, or that there's some kind of barrier for cars jump the curb.
Almost like it has to make the turn and come to the crosswalk too, don't you think?
Yeah.
The same kids are going around there. Yeah, I mean, it seems like.
Well, now,
Yeah.
See, I don't know if just putting a buffer would do anything. I think it needs like some sort of decorative ballard.
Right.
Let me look into that. We'll come up with some sort of protection. I agree. I mean, I think there should be
something tasteful. Like we don't want, something that doesn't, because this is very beautiful. I'm sure you could come up with something that will enhance this even more.
Yeah, let me. I'll look into that. We'll come up with something good.
Cool. All right. Those are my comments. Anyone else?
No, I think otherwise it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So just widen the walk and add the ballard. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is a public hearing, right? So if we don't have any more comments, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on this application 21-16, Serafina 670 White Plains Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Margaret, when's the deadline for ARB?
It's coming up. You know what? I'll email you tomorrow. But you can, for submissions like this, if you need a few extra days, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll discuss it tomorrow.
All right, that would be great. I'd appreciate that.
If there are any members of the public that wish to address the board on this application, please use the raise your hand feature and I'll invite you to unmute your microphone. Mr. Chairman, it does not appear that there are any members of the public who wish to address the board on this application.
Thank you.
And before you do anything, I actually now remember the answer to Chris's question. The submission deadline was, hold on one second, Tuesday, but you can have until the 28th.
Tuesday. And when's that meeting? I'm sorry.
That meeting is May 6th.
May 6th.
So if you can get things to me the afternoon, by 4 o'clock on Wednesday, 28th, that would be fine.
All right.
So hang on before you go, Chris. Just one more thing as I'm thinking about that walkway. I think one thing you probably should take into account is the turning radius of a stroller, right? Because it's true, right? You can't just make that turn, right? It's gonna go into the lane next to it. It's almost like a truck. So you ever see some of those strollers? They're huge. I'm just serious. We're trying to accommodate the pedestrians, and great, you made it wider, but you still can't get a stroller around the corner if people are there. So okay. Yeah, it's not just about a width that we're going to decide here.
All right, let me. I'll head back to the drawing board.
Yeah, you've got it done. I mean, it looks really good. So it's just tweaking.
Yeah. All right, not a problem.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Chris, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Likewise.
Okay, so we'll move to the next application is 21-15 Sweet Green, 700 White Plains Road.
We're just getting people set up here. Hold on.
Margaret, we left the public hearing open on that?
Correct.
Yes.
Good.
Now, on the team for Sweet Green, I don't see Margaret here. Was she planning to present or attend?
David Barnes from our team, he should also be on the invite. He's stepping in her.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally lose anybody. So I think you guys should be all set.
Okay, great. So my name is Pamela Haber, and I am Director of Real Estate on the East for Sweet Green. I have been here for almost 5 years. Just to give you a little background about our company was founded in 2007. 3 friends who went to Georgetown University wanted to find something that was healthy, sustainable, and affordable, and really wanted to build healthier communities by connecting people to real food. So that is our mission of our company. In the last 13 years, we have expanded our presence from DC up through Philadelphia, Boston, New York, and the West Coast and Midwest, and now into Texas as well. So our presence in New York City has been great. Our first entry into the area was with Greenwich, Connecticut. We opened it in December. And I don't know if you want to go to the next slide, but just to give you a little bit background about who we are. We're a company that's really built on transparency. We are a farm to table concept in a fast casual setting. So we are truly a sustainable concept. We locally source. All of our locations are sourced from farms locally to each region where our stores are located. We're scratch cooking on site. Each and every store has everything that we serve made in-house every single day. Next slide. Just truly building, it's all about building the stronger communities. And so with each store that we build, we really try and build elements into the local neighborhood, into each store. So we don't have a prototype. Each store is architecturally designed to be unique. And just to give you a little background about who I am, I grew up in Scarsdale my whole life. I shopped at this Vernon Hill shopping center my entire life, and now I live here with my family. So the comments about the strollers, I have 2 young kids, and I'm someone who frequents that shopping center with a tremendous amount of frequency. So I couldn't be more excited about presenting this and hopefully bringing Sweetgreen to Vernon Hills, because this has been a long time dream. And I truly know that this customer would appreciate our presence here. And we know that how great this center is, and we're really honored to be speaking with you tonight.
Great, and thank you, Pam. And I actually appreciate the time that it took me to figure out how to turn on my video and unmute myself. So obviously I'm here today. Margaret has watched most of this project in behalf of JSD Professional Services, who we work nationally to assist Sweetgreen in obtaining entitlements and approvals for their projects. Pam obviously has already spoken. We equally have with us this evening Lauren Kanoy, who is the Sweetgreen designer. Lauren, did I pronounce your last name correctly? I hope.
You know, I
And then we've got Ryan Welch of O'Neill Langen Architects to speak on any architectural questions. Obviously, we're here this evening to present and obtain site plan and architectural review approval for alterations to a commercial building, special permit approval for a food establishment, and special permit approval for outdoor dining. Our request is for planning board support and referral for advancement for this project to the Architectural Review Board. As part of our initial or subsequent submission, we have provided all required project documentation, including applicant responses according to Section 12 special permits. So I wanted to allow Lauren to really walk through the design itself and allow us to answer any questions that you may have before and after. It was good to see the presentation prior to us and see some of the concerns about pedestrian walk areas and pedestrian traffic. Obviously, we abut adjacent to the parking field, which I think is a little more of an advantage because we have cars, parked cars between us and the street versus the adjacent sidewalk. But I can speak on behalf of Sweetgreen that we look forward to working with our adjacencies and figure out ways to make for a good pedestrian experience. So Lauren, I'm gonna flip to just some quick slides for you. A little bit about the brand itself, and Pam pretty much went through that. And load.
Okay, great. I'm Lauren. I'm the design manager on this project, and I'm also taking on our expansion into the Westchester and Connecticut areas. Like Pam, I actually grew up in Connecticut and have been quarantining here the entire time, so I'm very excited about our suburban expansion. And in designing these suburban stores, having them be so close to home to Pam and myself, we really know the customer and try to take a localized approach to the design of each of these stores and where the customer lives, how they like to eat, whether they're on the run or meeting up with a friend for lunch. So as you can see, we have a pretty even mix of indoor and outdoor dining. Like many companies, outdoor dining has really become super important for us with COVID. So we are always excited when we can get a piece of real estate that has a great outdoor patio, such as this one. So this is our site plan. You can see our outdoor patio highlighted to the right. And then we just discussed the Serafina tenant, which we plan north of us. All of our cooking, as Pam mentioned, is done on site. So as you can see here, our kitchen is fairly large. And then we also have a strong sales mix of customer pickup and courier delivery. So those square boxes that you're seeing toward the front of the storefront is our OLO online order pickup area, so that the couriers and customers who want to be on the go can really just be in and out of the space without disrupting the other customers and for too long. So yeah, we have a pretty large patio proposed here. We have 30 seats total and concrete planters to kind of separate ourselves from the existing sidewalk and to allow circulation past our space, so we're not spilling out over to that at all. We spec these large concrete planters and we'll fill them with beautiful landscaping to kind of frame in our area. I think they're on the
next slide.
Yes. This is our storefront design. We are planning to keep the existing brick and paint it white. And then we're upgrading the storefront to actually a cedar wood, which is really beautiful and we feel will really elevate our space within this center. And then we're also going to do a green awning above on our storefront. We don't have any umbrellas.
Nice.
Should you get some? I mean, I'm sort of thinking, right? If people want to sit out there in this bright light, is that going to ruin your? What's your call?
Yeah, I think we're actually mixed about it. There's always a concern about umbrellas and blocking visibility of not only ourselves but neighbors at the same time, and the quantity of umbrellas that you may include. So, you know, I think it's a consideration, but we're equally concerned about visibility, making sure that signage is seen and visible.
Yeah, the decision here was visibility. Having our outdoor patio so close to our storefront, we looked at it with added umbrellas and it kind of just blocked our storefront signage. And we do have an awning that extends out over our storefront, so some of the seats closest to the storefront will be shaded.
Right, and something just to touch on is the number of umbrellas allowable in our adjacencies, like if that could be something that's considered just for visibility purposes too. I mean, I think having umbrellas is something that's a nice component to offer, but it does create a lot of visibility challenges.
And I think they have enough next door. Good point. We don't want more. So I brought that up. I take that back. Are these 2s or 4s?
These are 2 top tables.
2s, got it.
And they're movable, so we have an ADA table that's technically like a 4-top table, but we usually function off of these 2 top tables that can be easily moved and seated next to each other if a large group of shoppers wants to kind of corral together. They can, the seating is flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Lauren, we've got a number of outdoor photos, but that's going to take us directly to just the exterior rendering.
Yeah, this is a rendering of our storefront, which shows the cafe tables and then the concrete planters that we use to kind of frame in our outdoor seating areas.
Can I ask one question for clarification, or I would like to? It's for Pamela. Was your comment actually that you would like the board to consider the appropriateness of the number of umbrellas proposed at Serafina with regard to blocking visibility, et cetera? Was that what you were implying?
I think we could work together. I think we have confidence that through our teams, we're really excited about going next to one another. I think we're great. It's a great synergy for us to be next to each other, and we'll create a really nice destination for people together. But unfortunately, from Chris's renderings that were displayed, it was from an angle that it was hard for me to understand how it would affect the visibility for our space specifically.
Yeah.
But as we enter into this shopping center, knowing you're at the lighted intersection and you come up and we're on a hill, if you're coming up and you're coming from the south, from Eastchester going north towards White Plains, if you're coming in and all the yellow umbrellas are displayed, you may not be able to see us. So it's just hard for me to be able to determine that. But I am sure that as 2 retailers who have lots of restaurants together, we can figure out something.
Kind of coordinate that. Okay,
Right,
I just wanted to clarify that because I thought that was what you were talking about, but I wasn't sure if that was clear otherwise. So,
No,
okay.
it wasn't to me, but it is.
Margaret picks up on every subtlety.
Thanks.
And by the
trying.
way, I always sit in the sunshine. I am not an umbrella person.
I'm an umbrella person. Look at my
and I
skin.
appreciate it, and I think that Serafina does very tasteful build outs, as do we. So we know that we can get our teams together and brainstorm collectively.
All right, that's great.
But yes, but Margaret, you are correct. I was trying to politely suggest that
say that. Okay.
Some challenges.
That's the perfect response too. We'll work it out. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, and Lauren, I don't know, or even the members of this committee, I'm not sure how much more specific presentation you want. We obviously have a whole series of construction drawings. We've got photos of the existing conditions. We've got signage details. Or is it better to stop at this point and take questions?
What do you guys think? I think we've seen enough to be able to start asking questions. I mean, unless you guys want them to continue.
Just what are the dimensions on the awning? Just out of curiosity.
Do you recall, Lauren?
One moment. Let me double check the shop drawing. It's 23 inches tall, and then it expands the full storefront, which is just about 25 feet wide. And then they typically project, I don't have the projection called out, but it's usually 3 to 4 feet.
Yeah, I was going to say in this illustration, does that dash line represent the awning there? It looks like about the width of a door.
How many
is
seats?
The Sweet Green sign, is it going to be lit, backlit?
I think it's
how is that going to be illuminated?
It's internally illuminated. We use a day-night film on the face so that during the day it will appear our brand color green, and then at night it would appear illuminated. I believe we have a better rendering from our sign.
I think I saw that rendering.
Yeah, if you go down to one of.
So there's a nighttime rendering?
Yeah. There's the awning
There's
detail.
your awning.
If you go down to page 22.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. I see right there.
Yeah. So it would appear green during the day and then illuminated at night.
Interesting. So,
Margaret, does that conflict at all with our past issues regarding like light boxes?
No, those are permitted. And in fact, the applicant had reached out to me earlier with regard to various options for signage. So the letters that they're proposing for the storefront are permitted. And actually, my understanding is the sign committee actually really likes those types of letters. And there's other storefronts that have them in town. I believe the SG symbol in the window, they're proposing different alternatives because typically the board doesn't allow illuminated signs in the window. So they've proposed a number of options for the board to review those. But the wall mounted sign, that is permitted, yes.
And it's always one of those things that are difficult to illustrate light. And I'm not sure if this is totally accurate as far as it's showing a glow going on, but
yeah, I mean, I guess my only follow-up question to the whole to the lighting. I mean, I like the sign. I think it's interesting. I think it's gonna, definitely catch people's attention. What are you considering in terms of the color temperature of the light?
Can you tell what color temperature means?
Yeah, we have let me see if it's listed here.
I don't know if I saw it or not. Just curious. Color temperature, the yellowness, and I guess the brightness or blueness of an LED.
Yeah,
if you could.
And Louis,
I'll fool around with my lighting. See?
There you go. Look at that, Phil.
We use a 65K white LED units inside to illuminate the letters.
Okay.
And Louis, that is something actually that the sign committee also asked those questions. They're very interested in that. So they will be asking that same question.
Sure.
I have a question that sort of segues from the prior applicant, and that is, and maybe I just wasn't paying close enough attention during the presentation there. Show me what the sidewalk is going to look like going through this location, as I'm trying to envision what the sidewalk, the diverted sidewalk, could look like.
Yeah, it's in the
next
site
door.
plan.
Yeah, I know it's in the site plan, but I'd like to see it up
It's
here.
right, it's right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our plans are obviously based off of the existing site plan.
Yes.
So we would need to confirm with Serafina's new plan that there would not be any obstructions or turning radius issues with our space. I noticed like an extended curb in their proposed ramp up in front of our space that I would like to dig into more, but otherwise we have no issue with their proposed patio space and a sidewalk.
In this essence, there's wraps around like this, and then
right. So actually, the handicap that you guys show is their ramp. So that's the egress from their path that goes around. So they'll be coming out exactly at that spot, and there won't be the other path that'll be gone. So they'll be coming. So it's actually about your width, also about your sidewalk width is a question for us. It looks like it's not as generous as we'd like between the planters and the curb.
Okay, it's currently at 5 feet.
Right. So same point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Mr. Bonanno likes his 8 feet, no sidewalk.
No, I'm serious. It's a really nice shopping center because you just casually walk down and there's not people you're bumping into, and it's the whole experience. We don't want to change it.
Yeah, and if we're going to be sticklers for the Serafina applicant on the point of the width of the sidewalks, it would be a little difficult for me to justify why the storefront next door is getting different treatment.
So along that line, why am I also concerned about the cars parking there and people walking by, such that we want separation?
Parked cars aren't the same issue as moving cars.
I think you're right. Yeah. Right.
But are there wheel blocks located in these spots? I don't recall.
Well, additionally, our patio is actually elevated, so that wall where it starts at the parking lot at about 18 inches, it ramps up. So by the time you get to sort of where the cars are parked against our seating area, it's like 3-4 feet above the parking level.
Got it. Do you have an illustration? Photograph?
Yeah, you have a photo. Yeah. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
You should.
Okay, got it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you're well elevated above that,
and you have bollards there. It looks like.
Thanks.
Now, how tall is that wall? That existing wall?
It's like 2 feet.
Yeah, I was gonna say it appears to be 24 inches plus.
Yeah,
good point.
Okay.
So
it looks like it's actually a sitting wall. To be honest, right? On the sidewalk side, you can actually sit on it. It's not flush with the elevation and terrace, right?
I guess right.
It's a comfortable sitting.
Yeah. How many seats are inside? It's pretty limited, right?
There's 27.
Oh, inside?
Yeah, we have a banquette system and then also a few counter height stools along the storefront.
Can you go back to that? I didn't see the 27, but I didn't really look very closely. Oh, that's the banquette. Gotcha.
And Margaret, I know in reading the application, this Vernon Hills Shopping Center is classified as like the shopping center district, and because of that, it's not subject to the fast casual limitations that apply in other areas of the town.
It's in the design shopping center district, and as you know, because you recently
approved it.
Allowed the town board to be the lead agency for the review of this. So the zoning law was just amended to permit fast casual restaurant, not fast food restaurants, that's different. Fast casual restaurants in the DSC district, which encompasses the Vernon Hill Shopping Center and the Lord and Taylor site.
Correct. Yep.
Got it.
Right. So now I see the 27. That's a banquette there. So, so those tables become fours when people pull on the inside. Got it. So you also said that you're doing delivery, takeout and delivery. Is that right?
Yes, we have an app where customers can order online themselves for pickup, and we also are on Postmates, Uber Eats, etc. For delivery via courier.
So that's no different than any other food service establishment for pickups by Uber Eats or anything like that. How much of your business, just in general, is that kind of pickup?
It depends on the location.
Right. Sure.
Here, I think we're anticipating more in-store customers, but for example, in a New York City store where we get the lunch rush, most of it is all to go.
Yeah, I would think so. Sure. So, just by the way, I'm a big SG fan, and because I work in Manhattan and we go here all the time. The Cobb salad is my lunch go-to.
And for the record, I'm a Georgetown graduate, so I'm all for Hoyas.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Go
Hoyas.
Yes. I'm not going to let Jim have the last word on that.
I did hear the Georgetown thing. Yes, I didn't go to Georgetown. Sorry, guys. No, it's very nice. I think it's a nice addition to the shopping center. Any other comments, guys? I think we've addressed everything. The same comments from next door.
Yep.
I think it's handsome signage, and we'll go
to
the public
Can
hearing.
You remind me of what the desired sidewalk width is?
So let's see. So I guess just to not direct, it's whatever you guys think is necessary to get strollers and people by comfortably. But that being said, I think as a reference, and you guys tell me what you think, the existing sidewalk that goes through by the rumble strip and the car walk and over there on the other side of Serafina, it looks pretty generous to me. Maybe you guys can look at that as a starting point. I mean, it can't be 20 feet, right? What's existing there is 20 feet, I think, right?
Yeah, I think depending on the jurisdiction, I typically see like 6 feet wide sidewalks, especially in like city locations where traffic is pretty high. I was just curious if you
that's not going to do it.
Larger than that.
Yeah, it's definitely more than that. I think if you go to the other presentation when you get a chance to look at that or go and measure what's there right now at that rumble strip, that seems a nice space, but again, it's about how much.
Yeah, I thought Jim that the last applicant was talking about an existing 8-foot sidewalk that maybe I misheard, but I thought he was talking about 8 feet, and they were talking about squeezing that down to 5, which I agree is maybe a little excessively narrow. But I think he was talking about Chris was talking about building it back out to 8. Which seems to be Margaret.
Yes, that's what I understood, and I think 6 to 8 feet is still pretty generous sidewalk. I mean, in typical neighborhoods, they can be 3 feet wide. I mean, that's not as much traffic, but I would say an 8-foot wide sidewalk is pretty generous.
Yes, that's I would say anything more than 8 might be excessive. Nice, but excessive. I think 8 might be a target.
Right.
Okay.
Right, 8 feet with enough room to make a turn with a stroller.
Yeah. Well, and if I could add, I think the advantage that we have too is the wall within this location.
Yes.
And that we're not buffering against a road, and needing to make sure that we stay away from that. So, which the 8 feet will certainly provide that buffer yard for the adjacency. So, obviously, we're concerned about seating.
Yes.
And outside at the same time.
I'm sorry, I don't have your name.
David Barris.
Scroll down there. Hold on, I could do that. There you go. What's the? Can you scale off the existing there?
I honestly, if I'm looking at it, I would say if we're 5, there's 3. So it is probably an 8-foot sidewalk right there.
Is it right? What's a parking space? 12?
Typically, a parking space is 9 feet wide, 9 to 10.
Those are either 9 to 10 there.
Okay. All right. Oh, public hearing. Sorry, guys. I promised a public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, stand by. Don't go anywhere. So that I make a motion to open the public hearing on this application, 21-15 Sweet Green, 700 White Plains Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, looking at the attendees, if there's anyone who wishes to address the board, please raise your hand at this time. Mr. Chairman, there does not appear to be any members of the public who wish to address the board on this application.
Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. Do we have any more comments, questions, guys?
On here.
On here. So, Margaret, on the last one, I know this wants to go to the ARB before that's the next step, but it seems like on the last application, there's a few things we wanted to clean up before we refer it to the ARB.
Well, no, I think actually you did send the other application to the ARB.
Yes, you
So
did.
I think
Did I make a motion to send it?
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
In fact,
Doing this
what
in
I
my
was going
sleep, right?
what I was going to say is I know, and understandably so, since we're getting into warm weather and everything, that both applicants I'm sure are anxious to proceed. I was going to say this under any circumstances, even with regard to my taking the application, I think that the ARB is going to be looking at the facade and the materials and finishes and the tables, etc. So to me, it's okay if it goes to the ARB with some of the site plan issues still needing to be worked out, as long as the two, Sweet Green and Serafina, are kind of collaborating on coming up with something that works well together. Then when they come back to the planning board, unfortunately, they don't get back to the planning board till the end of May. But at that point, then they'll have the site plan issues kind of tied up. I think you should feel very comfortable with that.
Yeah, I am. And I know that
I think both could be easily resolved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and like I said, if they can't, the deadline for the ARB, which I know this particular applicant knew was technically on Tuesday, but I had let them know that, they could have sometime next week. But I also don't think that they need to scramble to get all the site plan issues resolved within the next couple of days. They really don't need to resolve those 100% until they come back to you at the end of May.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are a couple of other timing issues in play here. One of which is, as I said, I began to say before, this Vernon Hills Shopping Center. I know that the Papyrus must have closed more than a year ago. I remember it was around Valentine's Day of last year. So I know that at least that storefront has been vacant for well over a year. We only have 2 more meetings before our summer break here. And given the timing of things, we do want to move this along. Both of these locations, the first 2 applicants we've addressed tonight, both are proposing outdoor seating. If we're going to go forward with them, I'd like to do so as quickly as possible. Give them the benefit of having the nice weather that we're hopefully getting into to stay.
Maybe starting tomorrow.
Yeah, starting tomorrow.
Right, and I needed Sweet Greens to go to because I like it. So, but also one other question. It's just maybe a design issue, and so the seating that you show there right now is very nice when it's populated and people out there. When it's not being used, it's sort of barren, and it looks like an empty space. Do you guys do anything to it to sort of keep it lively? The tables stay, or is there anything you can do? Just in general.
You're saying like in the off season?
Yeah. Is there anything you could do to just sort of brighten it up, lighting or something to make it not seem so empty?
Yeah, we can consider that. We can, let me get with my team. Usually, we're expanding into the suburbs. We're previously focused on New York, where they want our sidewalks our sidewalk patios kind of off their sidewalks in the off season. But yeah, we can definitely come up with something design-wise to make it aesthetically pleasing when the patio.
Right. Unfortunately, I didn't make the same comments to the prior applicants. So if they're still around, if they would respond. If not, Margaret, can we also ask them the same?
Margaret is our conduit.
Yeah, just because it's very nice, the great pictures, but when it's cold and dark and dank, it would be nice to have something that would liven up the experience there.
How about even brighter umbrellas?
Lighting. Do you guys have lighting out here? Is there lighting as part of this application?
We don't have exterior lighting. sometimes we'll put sconces on the storefront. And then when we have larger, more permanent patios, mostly on the West Coast, we'll do like string lights sometimes, but they don't necessarily make sense for temporary patios. Usually our stores are very bright, and we really focus on the glazing in our storefront, and kind of the light shines through.
And when it's dusk, people aren't going to sit there very much anymore.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Lauren, I'm going to actually be naive and ask you, I'm not sure seasonally how late patios are used within this area, but I come from the Midwest, so within that area, we start introducing heaters and so forth to put outside. I'm not sure if that's restricted or if that's encouraged or how that's viewed. And maybe that's a question for Margaret and this board.
They are permitted, and we've had, especially during COVID, when restaurants wanted to extend the outdoor dining. If you're proposing something like that, it would be nice to show the detail to the Architectural Review Board, but there is not a prohibition for them. Okay. And we used to have a limit to how long a season for outdoor dining. We no longer have that. So as long as people are willing to stay out, you can be outside.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, our intention would be to leave this patio furniture out for as long as possible, weather permitting. So hopefully just really those cold months, January through March, be when it wouldn't be there.
April 22nd.
Not about to sit outside right now. All right. We'll let these kind people go if there's no other comments, but I have to make a motion to forward this if there's no more comments. So I make a motion to refer this application to 1-15 Sweet Green to the ARB.
Second.
Review. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Great. Have a nice evening. The next application is, what is it? The next application is 21-1175 Park Drive.
Hi, Mark Mosticato, the architect for 75 Park Drive. How are you?
Good evening.
Share my screen. Let's go to the first page. So this is a proposed new single-family residence at 75 Park Drive. Site plan-wise, this is a property that slopes quite a bit from the left side to the right side. So we are proposing some retaining walls along this side. And we're doing with two-tiered interlocking block walls. And doing that so the walls are never really that high. The highest areas of the wall, they get to about 3.5 feet high and then taper down to where it's basically meeting the grade.
What's the difference in elevation?
The difference in elevation, I mean, it varies. Like the highest point over here on the neighboring property, well, this is the highest point, is about 217, and our first floor is at 213. Yeah, so at the far side of our property here, we're at like 204, so quite a bit of change. So this two-tiered wall will help us to establish that and get positive drainage around the house, have a relatively level area around the house to get to and from the yards. So that is the site. We have our driveway coming in here. We have a two-car garage, a walkway coming from the street, and also connecting a couple of steps up to connect the walkway from the driveway and then into the house. So this is the front of the house. The materials are cedar beveled siding. I'm sorry, it's a hardy plank beveled siding, horizontal siding at the lower area of the house, and then vertical barred and batten siding up in the second floor. Those will both be white. We have a standing seam copper roof along here just to kind of delineate things a little bit and break it up, where this roof line will carry through. Red brick on the foundation, and on the chimney at the front of the house here and on the platform. And there's samples of the red brick. There are black Anderson double hung windows, black timberline asphalt shingle roof. This is the style of the door. The door will also be painted black. The garage door will be white. So take you through the other elevations. This is just gives you a little understanding again of the grade somewhat between the houses. You know, this house is taller. Again, this house is lower. That's kind of the character of the street, that it slopes from one side to the other. This is the right side and rear elevation. So again, this is where the grade is lower, and you can see this is the driveway grade and our steps going up to the front, and then grade sloping up towards the back. And again, at the back, where we have a wood deck, you can see the grade is again lower on this side, sloping up to where we're just a couple of steps out from the deck to the grade, to the backyard. And then, this is the left side elevation, where again, this grade, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around too much. This grade is pretty flat, you know, and we have the wall is sort of in front of that, sloping down again towards our front entrance. I can take you through the engineer's site plan for drainage and the landscape plan. I don't know if you're interested in seeing floor plans and the layout of the house or not. So
no, not really.
You can direct me.
No, not that we don't appreciate what you do, but we'll stick
so
to it.
Drainage-wise, all the drainage, you know, on each side of the house will pick up the gutters and the leaders and the driveway drains. They have a series of 15 Coltex in the front area here under the driveway and under the yard, and then also 44 feet of 24-inch diameter pipe, and those will provide the storage for the drainage, and then, you know, perking into the ground. There's all very shallow assemblies because they did find bedrock at a depth there, so these will keep us above the rock and be able to drain into the soil. Landscaping wise, this is landscaping plan from Anthony Acasella. So he has like a mix of different plantings. We have two pretty major trees. These are red maples that are a 5-inch caliper. In this area here, there's an existing stone wall here that will stay. So he's got some azaleas, you know, flowering azaleas there, and then some plantings along the foundation, sort of a mix of rhododendrons, some junipers, and some, you know, ground cover there. And then along this side, he has a mix of some arborvitaes and then some lower plantings, just to kind of create a screen along here. And then a mix here as we get to the back where he has some arborvitaes and then again also some blue spruce and Norway spruce. So mixing up where we have a kind of different mix of evergreens where it's not just one consistent wall and some varying heights. So the arborvitaes are 6 feet high, the spruces are 8 feet high. Across the back here, he has some English yews, and again mixing in some of the arborvitaes again here, along with some hollies to get kind of a nice screen there and, you know, be sensitive to the views both from the house and from neighboring houses. And there's an existing hedge here that would remain. I can also show you some pictures of the neighborhood. So this is kind of just a little key that kind of shows you the different properties in the neighborhood. So this is 99 Leawood. Again, some houses on Leawood, and then some of the houses on Park. So there's, you know, a bit of a mix. These are houses that are across the street. And then this is also across the street again. And then this is the house that's next door to us, which again this is to our left, which is pretty tall. And then this is the house to the right. This is the next house down. Again, next house down. So you can see it's kind of a mix. This is a sort of an aerial view of the two neighboring houses and the existing vacant lot. And then this is a street view of that existing lot.
What's the lot width?
I'm sorry?
What's the lot width?
A lot with, I gotta go back to my plan here. This was, when this property was created, and it's prior to my client buying it, was created by a subdivision. And it is a non-conforming width, and a variance was granted for the lot width. The lot width is, has a frontage of 60 feet, where 75 feet is the required frontage.
Oh, I see. Okay, but it's still 60.
So it complies with the lot area, did not comply with the effective square or the frontage. Everything, and so again, variances were granted at the time this property was created, and you know, it's conforming in all other respects.
Oh, do you have any color rendering or anything like that?
We do
or
not
if
have a color rendering.
Not, can you just tell us what the finishes and colors are?
I'm sorry?
Can you, if you don't have a color, could you just go back to the street elevation and just sort of describe what everything's going to look like?
Sure. Again,
yeah, I got the brick.
so again, materials, you know, this red brick is the entrance platform and foundation. The columns are white. The door will be painted black. The windows are black.
Right.
Siding is white. This is a standing seam copper roof, and the roof is a black timberline asphalt shingle. There's a sample of the asphalt shingle. Chimney also has the same red brick.
Okay.
The trim will be white.
Are you okay? I know that you said the lot was non-conforming, you know, based on previous approvals. Can you just go back to the drainage, the site development plan?
Sure.
This is what you're okay with all your clearances with, you know, from Coltech to the structure to property lines and all that, right? Okay.
Yeah,
And
this
all
is
new
Michael Stein, Hudson
single-family,
Engineering. Go ahead.
yeah, all new single-family homes are reviewed by Joe Tremelli, our engineering
Yeah.
consultant. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so that has been reviewed and approved.
Okay.
Sounds like there's a serious amount of Coltex. Yeah, it's a lot of drainage because rock is so
yeah,
close.
well, they're all 110s are shallow.
That's what it is, right? Because rock is nearby. Where's the drain for the driveway?
The driveway, there's a trough drain across the front here.
Oh, right there. Okay, I see it.
It's a very shallow pitch to the street.
Right. And what's the finish there? Is that new? Like the driveway finish? Is that cobble or something?
The driveway will be asphalt.
Yeah, it's asphalt. It's all asphalt. Okay.
I think that's just the anti-tracking pad.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, that's the anti-tracking pad.
Oh, that's just for construction. Got it.
Yes.
Right.
You know, these heavy dotted lines, that's the silt fencing.
Right.
So, are any of the trees that are there staying, or are there even any trees on the lot? I guess you said there is one on the right-hand side.
There's a couple of trees that stay. Let's see. Let's see if I have the trees on here. We have a couple of smaller trees that remain at the back here. And there's
The hedge
an
stays.
existing tree here that will remain. The bulk of the rest are all, unfortunately, you know, within the driveway or the footprint of the house and coming out.
And I don't have any other questions. Other members of the board, any comments?
No questions here. I think the exterior was well articulated, well thought out.
Yeah, it's a very nice addition for such a small lot.
It's a tricky lot, given
is.
the slope.
Yeah.
And the rock, the bedrock.
Yep. Yes.
Let's do the public hearing. Just stand by for a second. I make a motion to open the public hearing on application 21-1175 Park Drive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If there are any members of the public who wish to address the board on this application, please raise your hands. Mr. Chairman, it does not appear that there are any members of the public who wish to address the board on this application.
Great. So I make a motion to close the public hearing on this application, 21-1175 Park Drive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I don't have any comments, and I don't think there's any conditions other than the ones that we normally put in, Margaret.
Yeah,
about
so
the
Mark, so that
landscape.
you know, we have two standard conditions. One is that the building permit is not issued until our engineering consultant signs off on the engineering plan. And the second is before we issue a certificate of occupancy, that the landscape architect provide a signed and sealed letter indicating that what was planted is what was approved.
Okay.
So those will be the two conditions on your resolution for approval.
Okay, fine. Great.
So subject to those conditions, I make a motion to approve this application, 21-1175 Park Drive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good luck.
Thank you, you too.
Take care.
Let's see. Next application is 21-12, 629 California Road.
Okay. Good evening, Board Chairman. My name is Adamo Majorano from Community Designs and Engineering. On behalf of the applicant, Luigi Rogliano, we are proposing a new single-family dwelling at 629 California Road. The existing site is located in the R15 zoning district. It's a vacant lot that has some mature trees, vegetation. There's actually a tennis court occupying most of the property, along with some fencing, a small shed, and some small retaining walls that go along with the sort of tennis court situation. So all of those existing structures will be removed for our proposed action. And actually, I'll share my screen. Get a better view of the site. So as I mentioned, yeah, all those existing impervious surfaces, structures, fencing, they'll all be removed. And we are cutting into the site. So there's a slope along California Road, a pretty fair slope that slopes up and then it kind of levels off and is a flat area. That's where we're pretty much siting our home, but we're cutting into that slope with a new curb cut and driveway that will access a two-car garage on the basement level. There'll be retaining walls on each side of the driveway, and we're going to try to create more of a gentle slope, grade that slope back towards the house. This will create a little easier access to and from the driveway, as long as some better sight lines, municipal driveway going into California Road access and a little safer condition. The site plan is pretty straightforward. The condensers are located on the left-hand side. They'll be screened by evergreen screening, driveway turnaround, and just a grade patio in the back. There's also a covered patio on the rear right-hand side. We did perform, obviously, site tests for soil analysis, percolation tests, and deep hole tests that the town engineer came out to witness. All of our new impervious surfaces will be captured on site with stormwater mitigation. Again, taking no credit for any existing impervious surface that are there now on the site. I'm going to go to the elevations. So the aesthetics of the home, it's a white Lorraine brick, it's called, brick veneer along the front facade, black Anderson windows, white AZAC columns, white AZAC fascia along the roof, white seamless gutter, black charcoal architectural shingle roof, and white Clopay garage doors, Therma-Tru entry door that's painted actually in a gray color, just to contrast a little bit with the brick. I'll scroll down in a second. So the brick has some sort of natural earth tones and a little gray tint to it, so it'll give a little contrast to that. The sides of the house are white stucco, along with the back of the house as well. And the brick along the chimney will be the same white Lorraine brick as the front as well. And railings are all black metal railings on the areaway on the side, the rear, and the front covered patio. Go to just the streetscape. The property on the right-hand side, it's actually I'll just go to a picture really quick. It's a beautiful French Revival home that's 633 California Road, and to the left of that is 625 California Road, which is a basic Cape home. So you can see in here, it kind of ties in nicely with the both homes. Again, there's much more room that's really depicted in the site. They're very large sites, so we had to sort of clip it to kind of fit it in the streetscape. But you know, there's a lot more distance between the neighboring homes and what's really shown here, just to give the overall idea what the streetscape sort of looks like.
The tennis court
Yes.
that was there, was that part of one of the two properties? Was this lot
actually,
or just?
I believe it was a property to the rear that's on Rittenhouse, and they access that tennis court. Now it's a separate lot, so all of that will be removed. Actually, just to show it real quick. Yeah, so this is like a walkway in the rear of the property. I believe that's how they access it. Again, that'll all be, whatever's on our property will be removed. And just a quick little, oh, sorry. Where's my, oh, I have a material board, but I'll go to that afterwards. Just there's a landscape design plan done by Bob Tramontano. There was actually a comment at the recent approved architecture review board. They want us to add some understory trees on the property line. So he did add some planting on the right side, on the right-hand side of the property, as well as a new tree on the front left side of the property. There are trees along one of the comments from the town engineer, there are trees along the front right of way, right here, where some of them we're introducing our new curb cut. But so the applicant did meet with the town highway department, and they did in fact favor the removal of the trees. They said because of the proximity of California Road, they're sort of more of a safety concern to them than anything else. So what happens is it kind of helps sight lines again for the driveway access in removing those trees that are where our new proposed curb cut will be. And I think that, actually, I'll just go to my material board. Oh, if you have any questions, sorry, I'm just trying to go to the material board, but it's not coming up. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be loading, but I'll go to that in a second, sure. Yeah, so yeah, I'll try to work with I'll upload this material board in a second, but any questions I'll be happy to answer. And since
We're seeing what looks like a material.
Yeah, we see it.
Oh, you do see that? Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, so this is basically a conceptual idea of so that's what the, wow, that's very confusing. Oh, that's what the brick basically looks like. The retaining walls, natural stone retaining walls on each side of the driveway, and that's sort of just a conceptual image of the home showing what the brick looks like on a actual residence.
So the white brick is cast like that?
Yeah, that's the actual texture and color and everything of the brick. So it's not really like a flat white, but it has some, it's basically white, but it has some variation. So it's almost like a whitewash, but not, it's pretty cool.
Right, it's very nice. It's not like it's an actual white brick. So if we were to cut it, it's a white stone? Or it's finished with that white? Just curious. I've never seen it.
It's almost like a reclaimed whitewash.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but is it thin brick? No, it's 4-inch.
No, it's 4. Yeah, it's regular brick.
Yeah, it's real brick. That's pretty impressive.
It's cool.
What's in the gables, like on the right-hand side? One that comes out at you is brick. What's the one behind it? That's siding? That's siding.
Oh no, that's stuff. So the sides are stucco.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, the return?
In the front elevation. Go back to the.
You mean the rendering you were seeing? I think that was just an example.
Oh no, sorry.
Example
That's just,
of the brick.
I threw myself up with the ARB as well. That's just an example of what a house looks like with that brick on it. Sorry, that's not the example. Sorry.
I gotta say, I was confused. I'm like, completely different house.
That's not the house. Right,
I should have known. Yeah.
Stop doing that. You confused the ARB too.
I know.
I feel foolish asking that question. I should have realized that.
You didn't confuse me, Adamo.
There you go.
You know why you didn't confuse me, Adamo? Because you got that picture of the house right behind you.
There you go.
I've been looking at it for the last 10 minutes.
There you go.
Right. Like, Jim, what are you talking about? So the three sides of the house are stucco, right?
Yeah.
So what can you, like, it's a big expanse of stucco on the back elevation, but I guess the ARB is okay with it, right? And the stucco is the same color. It's white. Is that right? It's
basically a white stucco,
right.
Not 100% pure white, but it's adrenaline white, so it's there's a little bit of a gray shade to it, but it's basically a white stucco.
Right, and there's enough other magic
to break it up,
right? To break it up, the windows.
Yeah,
break it up
exactly.
Right, it's not like we have to ask you to put something across it to sort of break it up because the windows do that adequately.
Yeah, and then that left story is a kind of overhang, so that breaks up as well on that side.
Yeah. Hey, there was one ARB comment. I think that wasn't. What was that? Consider standing seam over the first floor window.
Oh yeah, it was a consideration. I did ask the applicant to see if they would, venture into doing a standing seam over there, and they wanted to sort of keep it the regular
shingle,
asphalt shingle. It gets a little tough with, I guess, the metal roof and the brick, and they said it's a little tough combination to, so I want to battle back and forth, but
right, the homeowner is probably someone who knows about stone, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any other comments. I think it's well done. Guys, anything?
No comments here. Looks good.
Nothing.
Okay. Let's go to the public, see if anyone's out there. This application, I make a motion to the public hearing on this application, 21-12629 California Road.
Yeah, second opening the public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do any members of the public wish to address the board on this application? Please raise your hand. Mr. Chairman, at this time, I do not see any indication that members of the public wish to address the board on this application.
So then I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on 21-12629 California Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sort of miss Mark because he always has good comments. From the building point of view. Well, we have good comments too.
Phil?
No, he always has like. At this point, he'd be asking like builder type comments.
Yes,
layman type comment just sheds a different light on what's going on that you and I aren't well versed in as he is.
I second that.
That's right. So I second that. So then, rather than delay anymore, I will subject to the same conditions that we set on the last application about review by
water management and landscape plan. Adamo is familiar with those. So, okay.
Sure. Got it.
So given, subject to those conditions, I make a motion to approve the application, 21-12629 California.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Adamo. Good work.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right.
Take care.
Well done.
Thanks.
So the last application, which is not a public hearing, it's just for information to the board, is a subdivision on Taco Avenue. So this is just an opportunity for the applicant to present what it is they're thinking about for this site.
Yeah, can I just clarify something quickly? So our zoning law does encourage people that are proposing subdivisions to come in for sketch plan review, which is just sort of a preliminary, this is what we're proposing, we would like your initial feedback. And that's why it's not noticed as a public hearing. It will be noticed as a public hearing. It's legally required to be noticed as a public hearing, but our zoning law actually encourages people to come in, initially just to sort of introduce the subdivision to you. And while I'm talking, I'm going to say a couple of other things. I have already forwarded the application to our civil engineer, who will look at stormwater management and sanitary sewer issues, our traffic engineer that will look at any potential traffic issues, site distances, sidewalks, that kind of thing. I've also forwarded it to the Eastchester Police Department, the Fire Department, and the Highway Department for their input. So, what we'll probably do is we'll have staff and consultant review initially to try to identify any potential impacts, discuss that with the applicant. So this is a preliminary introduction. Today you did receive a letter, and I'll forward this to the applicant as well, from Maria Onyebeni, hopefully I pronounced that name somewhat correctly, from 14 Tuckahoe Avenue, who is not objecting to the subdivision necessarily, but has really asked that the board seriously consider, infrastructure issues, which you are prone to do under any circumstances, but related to sanitary sewer, the condition of sanitary sewer is in the area, the condition of the stormwater facilities in the area, potential high water table, etc. So I want her to be aware that we received her letter. You will take her concerns very seriously, and that she'll be able to address those, as will other residents at future public hearings as well. So again, this is just an introduction.
Thank you, Margaret. Yes, well said. And as far as the letter and the resident of 14 Tuckahoe, we all have read it and we understand the concerns, and we have a whole team of people that are going to be looking after your concerns. So we will give you the opportunity to talk when it becomes a public hearing, but until then, we'll certainly take them into consideration. So now,
Michael, sorry.
It's okay. Thank you. Okay, so Michael Mastrogiacomo, Mastrogiacomo Engineering. I'm the designer and land surveyor for the project. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So what we have is we have a large tract of land. Let me just go to the survey with a 1.5 and 2-story residence right off of Tuckahoe Avenue with the large garage, and it's just a large, flat, almost flat piece of property. It encompasses 50,000 square feet. What we're proposing to do is remove that existing residence and the garage and subdivide and create 5 lots with a new road and a cul-de-sac. And then each lot will have a 1-family residence in accordance with the zone. As in regards to, and when we designed this, we looked at how this would affect the neighbors. So what we did was we made sure that any potential grading at the rear yard is very minimal grading, just to clean up the property and create nice backyards for the new houses. The road is elevated about 6 feet. However, we have retaining walls between the houses to encompass that change in grade elevation and eliminate any effect to these neighboring properties. And
what is the change in grade around the perimeter at the bottom page right? Those contours? Yeah.
These are 1-foot contours. I mean, it really, you're going from about 214 to 211. And we're just keeping those grades. We're just creating a little bit of a level area. We could actually expand some of these contours to lessen the change at the edge and just blend it out a little bit more if the board feels that would be necessary.
So adjacent properties are at 211, I imagine? At property line?
Yeah, they're pretty much at 211 and they pitch up towards Tuckahoe to 219. So there's about a 7-8 foot difference in elevation from the street to their back line.
Toward Tuckahoe. Okay.
And then what happens is there's a shopping center here that has a retaining wall that's about 5 to 6 foot high. And that's all along this edge of the property, which is the north edge.
Is that north edge of the property that currently has like all kinds of wildly growing bamboo trees? Is that
correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct.
Which is a visual eyesore, as from my perspective.
Yes. Yes.
And it's invasive, so it's not really recommended.
Yeah, no, and that's one thing we definitely want to clean up and get rid of. What we did start working on was a landscaping drawing. Most of what we just showed is screening with arborvitaes, but we're going back and looking at and mixing some different vegetation. So then the neighbors aren't just looking at a wall of green, basically. You know, we want to try to mix in some hollies and something nice to make it look presentable to the neighbors as well.
So how is the north end of the property proposed to sit relative to there's like a driveway or actually it's a passageway to the back part of the lot off of Route 22 that constitutes, I believe, that north end. How are these homes proposed to sit? Are they higher up by a significant amount or lower? 211, 212. Yeah, it looks like you're going up by several feet. So how are they going to sit relative to the shopping center right next to it?
So that's the thing. We're maintaining most of the grade that's there. We're not trying to fill in or go higher than the parking lot of the shopping center. So we'll be lower. Our first floor elevations will probably be roughly they're the same elevations as their parking lot, maybe a foot or two higher. But we're not looking at creating, a big fill site and filling up and trying to raise our grade to match their property or any of that. Even for that pizzeria that's on White Plains Road up here, the new pizzeria that was done.
Yeah.
Right. So, we're lower than them. We don't want to start filling and creating any issues with them. And, it'd be nicer to be lower than them. That way there's some privacy. They have that nice vinyl fence. Whoever buys this lot will have a nice private backyard.
But let me just understand then, again, that the north, I guess it'd be northwest corner, the one that's closest to the pizzeria, that you're scrolling over right now. The slope is downward as you move to the north. But you said there's a retaining wall then right at the property line with the supermarket.
Right.
So that's an existing. So you're sloping down from 214 down to 211, maybe even closer to 210 in the lower. But there's a retaining wall that's how many feet high?
Well, you have there's a top of wall elevation.
Yeah, this is about 6 feet high.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing that. Okay.
Yeah, I can't say it, but I do see it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
216.
Okay, so that's about 6 feet. Okay.
This grade is about 6 feet higher than what we're grading to our property.
Okay.
So that we're going to remain. We're not trying to touch.
And that's where all the ugly bamboo trees are right now.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So you're going to take those out.
Correct.
And you're just going to leave. You're going to put some sort of plantings in, I would think, right?
Correct. We'll do something nice. That way, then we'll screen the retaining wall and the fence that's on the retaining walls.
Okay.
Does that retaining wall turn? That's the retaining wall that turns onto the pizzeria property at the same elevation?
It ties into this wall. This is a separate independent wall, but then they do connect here along this property line.
Are they the same elevation?
I believe so.
So it's also at 260.
Well, the way this is actually a little higher. This is about 4 foot higher, more higher than the parking lot of the supermarket.
I see.
Because over here I'm at 221,
right,
and over here we're at about 216. So
it has to be higher. 4 feet would be perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if the board has any questions or any other comments. Also, just to give you an idea, I mean, I know everybody knows where it is, but this is where the property sits. These are the two abutting properties, and this is a larger tract of land Next to us, this is the shopping center, and this is the pizzeria. And here is White Plains Road. So we're coming in on this side of the property with the cul-de-sac, 1 house, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
At some point, if you could go back to the site plan or the plan that you sent us. At some point, you tell us like the effective square of the building and how big you think they're going to be and all of that. Is that on the next effective square?
I think that was it.
The subject
right there.
as
oh, there you go. So it's the dash. It's the dash.
Yes,
line.
the dash lines with the
Gotcha.
The effective square is just this hypothetical square that has to fit in the lot. That is that ensures you have a fairly regular shaped lot. That's different than the building envelope. So he's got both of them shown there.
Right.
Right.
And what I'll try to do is I'll update the drawing to try to use different line types to depict the two. That way you could see it a little more clearly than what the setback lines are. So all the lots, I was able to fit the effective square in it. Everything, lot areas all meet, lot widths all meet. I made sure going along the radius, I had the 50-foot frontages as required by code. These two lots have a larger frontage. We also made sure that the lot width at the front yard setback, we had, the minimum lot width required. This is the most rectangular shape, 50 by 100. And we made sure that the radius was the 60-foot radius for a cul-de-sac. As I was speaking with Margaret, she gave me that information.
And then Michael, I can't remember what you and I have discussed or how much you've communicated, if any, with our engineer yet. For new construction and subdivisions, you're required to design for a 100-year storm event, not a 50-year storm event. So I'm not sure if you were aware of that.
I usually design with 100-year wherever
okay.
Yeah.
So that's
it
a good
better
thing.
be safe than sorry. I've learned in the past. So the drainage system, because we're pitching down from the street, and in this anywhere on Tuckahoe Avenue up until Dean Place, there is no storm drainage. There's a small catch basin. I only saw one, and it was full of water when I checked it, so I couldn't even see what size pipe was going out of it. Since we are lower, there's no way to get the pitch down to that area. So what I designed was for a 100-year storm and underground detention system. I've done this on a few projects in a couple of different municipalities, and I've always gotten positive feedback with this. So it seemed like it's worked in a few areas. As for the sewer, again, since we're lower, everybody will have a sewer pump that'll come up to a new manhole, and they'll go gravity into the existing sanitary sewer line. And again, the water main will be extended from Tuckahoe Avenue down with a fire hydrant, and everybody will have adequate water as well.
Mike, just out of curiosity, what are the widths of the curb cuts on the cul-de-sac?
The widths on the curb cuts of the cul-de-sac, they've been drawn at about 14 feet. I believe they're either 14 or 16 feet.
All right. Those are 2-car garages or single 1-car garage?
I haven't gotten into the full layout of the houses. So, by the next meeting, I'll have more, because these, as you can tell, they're all the same, just shape. So what we're developing now is actual floor plans.
Just schematic.
Right. So for the next meeting, I'm going to have more detailed, each house, how it's going to look, and a better idea with the driveway widths and the curb cuts as well.
Okay.
So I'm studying all the lines on the plan, and if you could just walk me through lot 4. Lot 4, you've got the right. That's it. It's right there. So you've got the text that calls out the effective square, and then 2 arrows coming out of it, right there.
So this is the effective square.
Right, and your arrows coming out of what says that one points to the effective square, the other points to the property line, or that's just the
setbacks. Just setbacks.
Well, this is the setback line, and the effective square basically encompasses more than what the building envelope would be.
Right, I'm just saying the leader that comes off the effective square points to that.
Yeah, it looks like it's pointing to the property line, but it's
Oh.
actually the edge of the affected square.
Oh, it's under there.
Yes, it's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like touching
that's
together.
yeah. Okay, don't say that. So is the cited building supposed to be within that?
No, that again, the effective, there's
Right.
two different things. The building always has to fit within the building envelope.
Okay.
And the building envelope is created by the side yard setbacks, the front yard setback, and the rear yard setback. So when you draw those setback lines, that's the area within which you're permitted to put your building footprint. The effective square, like I said, it's a square that in an R5 has to be 50 by 50 feet, and it has to fit within somewhere within the front yard of the property. And honestly, that's to eliminate very irregular shaped lots or flag lots. It's sort of a pretend hypothetical thing that you can't see, but architects or engineers need to demonstrate that they can fit this 50 by 50 foot square in the lot and also touching somewhere within the front yard. So that keeps you from having very weird pie-shaped lots or from having flag lots and that kind of thing.
I got it. So there's really no relationship between the building footprint.
No, it's for zoning compliance with regard to sort of the configuration of the lot only.
Okay. I don't have any more comments then.
So, and I do think when this comes back to you in May and or June, then you'll have, hopefully before the May meeting, you'll have input from, again, police, fire, highway, civil engineer, traffic engineer. Will communicate, some of our concerns or comments to the applicant. And, that obviously will have more information for you to evaluate as well.
I did reach out to Joe Cimelli today. I just sent him an email. We did try to connect about a week ago. I called him. He returned my call and then got a little busy. So I sent out an email to him, and I'm sure he'll respond at some point tomorrow. Because I do want to schedule the deep hole test, especially for the drainage system on the road. That way, then we can finish up the engineer report for that.
Okay.
Right. So I think we're good. I think the only other comment was when you brought up, Margaret, that if you're coming back, you're going to notice the public hearing if we intend on making it such in the next month.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, just because I know typically Eastchester, you do start public hearings fairly early, and residents do like to get involved as early as possible. So even though this was perfectly appropriate, and I think it's not far enough along really to get that many comments, but I think by the next time the applicant appears before the board, it would be a good idea to allow residents to speak. So we can coordinate with the applicant with regard to noticing for the public hearing.
Right, and as you said, Mr. Greeley and Tremelli will be have review comments by then.
Yes, and can attend the meeting as well.
Okay, great. So I've got nothing to approve or disapprove or comment on other than thank you. It seems like a good start.
Well, I actually do have a minor question, really relatively immaterial. And that is, I see the naming of this circle. I'm assuming this is Gentilly as opposed to Gentile. And is that something that is how do streets get named in Eastchester, Margaret?
Well, let's say one of the last subdivisions that was approved is D'Ambrosio Way, because D'Ambrosio's were the builders.
Rogliano's got one too, right?
Rogliano Way, so Gentile Circle, that seems to be the way that they're named.
Okay.
And I think technically when the road is dedicated to the town board probably has some authority with regard to that. But I think typically, the names have remained as they have been proposed by the builders.
Okay, so Bonanno Way is out of the question.
Well,
yeah, you don't want the name Bonanno on anything in this town.
This would be considered genteel. Right?
Well, listen, I could put mine, Master Giacomo, but I don't think.
Yeah, I was going to say, have a nice evening. Now you told me how to say your name, so I could say it. All right. Good.
All right.
Thank you very much.
So, Margaret, I guess I'll wait to hear from you about noticing this for next month.
Sure. You know, we'll maybe just touch bases with me early next week, and we'll talk about some things.
Okay, great.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Great. Thank
Now
you.
we're going to figure.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. You too.
Take care.
So
Bye-bye.
we're done, guys. There's no housekeeping to do. So unless you guys have anything else, I'll close the public hearing. So
I do just want to thank the planning board and perhaps just the calendar for the way it falls. That we're not on the same week as the NFL draft, that Thursday night next week. So I get to watch my Jets pick number 2 overall. I know in past years, other than last year with the COVID crisis, it's always coincided with a planning board meeting. So I'm happy it's not the case.
Jets
I know our sizable viewing audience at home wants to hear that.
Right. And the Jets got number 2. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I make a motion to close the planning board meeting of April 27, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Okay,
Have a-
good
have a
night.
nice
Thank you
evening.
very
Good
much.
night.
Thanks, Mark.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Stay
you.
well.
Bye.